Hello, everyone, and welcome to new parent orientation here with Lakeside Survival Swim. We just wanted to take a moment to really go over our program and share a few things that both Miss Kristin and I, as instructors, are always going to be watching for, so you can feel a little bit more confident and familiar with our process that we have here. So first and foremost, your child's safety is always going to be our number one priority. So during that first week, you might notice that lessons feel a little slower than what you would expect. And that's because of a variety of different things. But number one is we are going to be closely observing every child for a lot of different things. So we're going to be watching their breath. We're going to be watching how they control their breath, whether or not they are swallowing water, if they're opening their eyes, how they're responding to different stimuli that we're throwing at them. And then we're also going to be tuned into any potential sensory concerns or something that they do or don't like, so that as instructors, we can kind of accommodate that accordingly. So if it seems like Miss Kristin and I are just super hyper focused and, not making direct eye contact with mom or dad who's asking us questions over here, please know that we are putting all of our attention and all of our focus on that tiny client, which ultimately is your child. And so we will always make them our number one priority during the entirety of our lesson. And we always say that we work for them. They are our boss. And so we are always focused on them. 99% of the time when we're looking at them, we are going to be looking at their mouth. So if you follow our eye contact, follow our gaze, you're going to see that most likely we're looking at their mouth. We also spend some time gently feeling their bellies. We do this just to make sure that there's not any trapped air that might have accumulated there, or, if they need to burp, we want to help them get that air out to help them feel more comfortable, which is always what we want. We're always monitoring their breathing. We're always looking at their skin tone, their color. We're looking at how their body is balancing. We're looking at and noticing any tension that we feel and how they respond to that. So you might notice we have some kiddos who have tension in their hips. So when we have them on that float, we move our hands down to those hips and we'll kind of work on that tension to relax them a little bit. So it's all these little movements that we're doing at the same time that sometimes are unseen by mom and dad, but we are doing those things to relax and kind of comfort your child at the same time. Again, hyper-focused on them. There are a few things you can do to really help us out before lessons. This is a big one for us. If you could really help us out by not feeding your child within 2 hours of their lessons, that would be amazing. If they are starving, maybe just like a few crackers or something kind of bland and little would be awesome. A full belly can really lead to those burps or sometimes vomiting in the water, which ultimately will force us to shut down the pool for the day, which is a huge bummer for all the other kids who have had lessons scheduled that day. We have had a few instances where we are seeing bacon bits and scrambled eggs and strawberries and all the things floating all over, which again forces us to shut down and shock the pool, which is a big bummer for the rest of the kiddos. So try not to feed them 2 hours before they have their lessons. You might notice that your child will cough occasionally during lessons. That is good news. That means their body is doing its job and it's trying to get rid of any water that they may have swallowed or that they have in their mouth. This is completely normal as they are learning to really manage their breath control and close their mouths properly when they are underwater. We're always watching for this, and we'll always help them return to whatever position they need to be in. You'll notice if they're on their float sometimes and they're coughing, we'll turn them over to their left side. This is called the recovery position. We'll turn them on that left side, let them get the water out and put them back in their float. Get it right, and then we'll pick them back up. So all normal things that you'll probably see at lessons with us. And while you're there, feel free to ask questions about what we're doing. We're always an open book and we'd be happy to tell you about it. Again, if we're not looking at you while we're answering, please know we're just staring at your child's mouth, most likely. All children under the age of 3 or anyone who is not 100% potty trained, and potty trained we mean both day and night, must wear a Happy Nappy or Big Elephant branded swim diaper. My network has done extensive research on these. We've done a lot of trial and error. Happy Nappy and Big Elephant are the two swim diapers that contain fecal matter at the best. Even if you think my child would never do that in the pool, sometimes they get nervous and it just happens. And so please, 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 if your child is under the age of 3 or not potty trained, go on Amazon and pick some of these up. Like I said, they're both on Amazon. You can visit our Instagram page and click the link in our bio. And then there's a section called Survival Swim Approved Accessories. You can go to that and you can see all of those diapers in there, or you can just shoot us an email and I'd be happy to send those to you as well. So you have those links. That really just helps us avoid unexpected closures due to any accidents in the pool. Another awesome thing that you could do for us is if your child has long hair, if you could put it in a ponytail or braids, something to just get it out of their face. That really helps them stay focused and keeps the hair out of their face while they're in these lessons. It is a very, very scary feeling to roll onto a float and have all your hair cover your mouth and nose with that much water on it. Even as an adult, it's very, very scary. So if you could just keep their hair back, that would be amazing. And then we have kind of a newer thing that we're doing this year, just out of the things that we've learned over the past couple of years. So for safety and really for presence purposes, we are not going to allow cell phones to be out while you are standing right beside the pool, unless you are snapping a photo or recording a video of your child. If you are seated on the patio, feel free to use your phone there as much as you want to, but we do ask that when you are poolside, that your attention remain fully on your child's wins and you're encouraging them and smiling and clapping. When they do something really amazing, we just really want them to see your proud, happy smile and, not looking down and say, oh, I missed it. We've seen that multiple times in the past years, and it's a huge bummer to see that kiddo's face when they see, their parent wasn't watching. So a few things to bring with you. Bring a towel for sure. Some people forget towels, but make sure to bring that. Your child will most likely be hungrier than usual and might take longer naps after these lessons begin. You might notice that they will learn some skills super, super quick, and then they'll be a little hesitant with others or a little more nervous. Those are all completely normal things. And, we see that in adults as well. When your child does master a skill, they're going to want to repeat it again and again and again, and they're proud. And that is a really, really great sign of confidence. So we'll be looking for those things. And as we kind of progress through these lessons, Miss Kristin and I will kind of fill you in on what we're seeing, what's next, what we can work on at home, if you go swimming, if you're in a hotel pool, all those things. So be sure to ask us all the questions. We do recommend sunscreen, even though your kiddo is only going to be in the pool for 15 minutes. The Texas sun can absolutely be brutal. So as a mom, I would do sunscreen. Also consider bringing a snack and a water for them after they're finished. Like I said, most kiddos are pretty hungry after they work this hard in the pool. So just even if it's something small, we've had gummies, we've had goldfish, all of the things, feel free to bring those with you so they can munch on them when they're done. This is an important one. Please note that there is no access to a bathroom while you are at swim. So make sure that all those potty breaks are done before you arrive. We do have a covered patio, but we don't have a dressing room. So we recommend always having them dressed when you get here. Most of our parents will just kind of hold up a towel around them to change, or change them in the car. That's totally up to you. There are some cheaper car potties on Amazon that you can throw in the back of your car for all those potty needs. So that's again in those that Amazon link that I can send you, or it's in the link in our bio on Instagram. So just let me know if you want that link. I also get the question a lot. My kid is crying, like they've been crying for 2 weeks. Is this normal? We get that question all the time. So if you're asking it in your head, it's a good one. And the answer is always yes. A huge, huge part of your child's success is going to be your encouragement. Okay. So your positive energy, your claps, your cheers, and telling them how proud you are, that is going to make all the difference with lessons. But there will be crying. And sometimes it's because, they're tired. Sometimes they're hungry. Sometimes they're really just not in the mood to do this today. Other times it's because they're working through fears and they're learning to kind of trust this process and to trust me and to trust Miss Kristin. And you're literally handing your child over to a complete stranger at first in a big body of water, right? That's scary. That's scary even for an adult. And so that is something that we do not take lightly, and we ensure that there's lots of cuddles, lots of playtime, things that just get them more acclimated. And as they kind of bond with us too, that crying will lessen. So just know when you're watching this, crying does not mean it's a failure. It's just a part of the learning curve. So stay with it. As we do spend more time together, we'll be able to tune into those specific needs. We'll be able to tune into that cry, and we'll know what that means and just really help them feel more confident. We really love, like I kind of mentioned before, seeing that really enthusiastic support over the sympathy, right? So saying things like, "Oh my gosh, you're doing great, sweet girl. I'm so proud of you. I can't believe you just did that. That's so cool." That's so much more helpful than, "Ah, I know you don't like this. I know you don't like it. Let's just get it over with so we can go home," right? That's two completely different ways to kind of respond to your child. So your words do matter, and your child will always, always look for you for those cues. I always say an anxious parent makes a really anxious child. So just try to be as upbeat and confident, as happy as you can. Even if you're nervous and you want to like jump in and hug them and wrap them up, be like, "It's okay, you're doing great." Clap, smile. I promise it's going to go a long way. Sometimes we'll have these kiddos bring with their favorite water-friendly toy. We can swim with it. We can talk about it. We can incorporate it into the lesson. And it really just gives them that little bit of comfort from home, as well as, anything that they have that can go in the water that they can bring with them. We have a little girl who always brings her Little Mermaid Ariel doll. We have somebody that always brings Chase with him, and we incorporate that into our lesson. So please feel free to have your child bring that, as long as it's smaller in size, obviously. So this first few weeks are going to be all about trust, and we want to really help your child feel secure. We want to help them work through any fears that they have, really begin to love the water. So don't be surprised if they do fall in love with swimming, even if at first they hated it. We have kids who will start the lesson crying, clawing they want to get out so bad. And by the end, they're clinging to us because they don't want to get back out. They want to stay in the pool. So we love, love, love seeing that. All children can learn to float. Some will take a little bit longer than others. So at the end, if we're at lesson 24 and they're just not where we need them to be, do not panic about that. We always say that kids are like popcorn. They're all eventually going to pop, but they're not all going to pop at the same time. If you have a kiddo that's around age 3, sometimes we have to work through this fear that they develop around that age. It's where they kind of develop that depth perception, and oh my gosh, the castle's too far to swim. Oh, that looks too deep. It's this thing that's happening in their brain. So we will work through all of that. Like I said, at the end of about 24 lessons, remember the popcorn, they'll all pop. Some take a little longer than others. We are going to celebrate their success. We're going to have a 2-minute float test. We do that because most kiddos will drown in 2 minutes. So we want to make sure they can at least float for 2 minutes. The goal is indefinitely until help arrives. And then we'll do a few other test out kind of things, and then we'll reward them with some fun goodies. We are right now monitoring the pool temperature daily. We need the water to be at least 86 degrees to begin lessons. And we take warm, comfortable water very, very seriously here. So if we don't reach those temperatures by Monday, we will move lessons back 1 week in order to get those temperatures up for your kiddos. So watch your emails, watch your texts, watch your socials, and we will let you know there. Cold water, it's going to tense those muscles. It's going to distract them from learning because, when you're in a cold pool, you're literally just focused on how cold you are. It also really triggers fear, and it just affects their breathing, and it's not good for these lessons. So if there's one thing you should know about me, it's that I will always, always, always put safety above all else to make sure that those babies are comfortable and obviously safe too. So again, watch those notifications so you're sure not to miss a late start if we do have one. Right now we have the solar heaters in, we have the electric heaters in. So fingers crossed that we can get that temp up by Monday. The address of lessons is 416 Verbena Drive in Marble Falls. This is in the Greg Ranch subdivision. This is south 281. You're going to want to just park on the street, walk up to the porch, and then follow the stepping stones to the gate and enter the backyard. You'll see a big Lakeside sign, so it should be pretty simple to get to. My personal cell phone is 325-617-8840. Feel free to just shoot me a message there, ask questions, concerns, comments, celebrate milestones and wins. I will love to celebrate all those with you. And I just want to say too that we're very, very honored to be part of this journey with you and your kiddo. You are truly having them become more safe, more confident in the water. We want to thank you for trusting us with your little one, because we take that responsibility very, very seriously. And we're really, really excited to watch them grow throughout this experience. So again, if you have any questions, concerns, you want to celebrate, do not hesitate to reach out to us. We love, love, love when you share your videos on social media and you tag us. That is amazing. Sometimes we'll do giveaways, secret giveaways on who does that the most for the month, and we'll reward you without you didn't even know that we were having a contest. So we're here for you every step of the way. And I always tell parents this: you just made one of the most important decisions that a parent can make. And I know from experience that it's not always an easy decision to make. Survival swim lessons are not just about the water. They're really about giving your child a skill that could one day save their life. And that is a big deal. It takes courage. It takes intention. It takes love. And I am so, so proud of you for taking this step. Your child may not understand it yet, but one day they will, and they'll know just how deeply they were loved because you did this for them. So we will see you all very, very soon. We will see you all very, very soon in the water. And thank you for hopping on this call. Bye.